All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA props video, touching on the top props for Summer League today. So just looking at the board that we have available for today, we do have PrizePicks and Underdog kind of populating in throughout the day with their different props. So it is something that will be changing throughout the day. We see prop lines coming in and out already. Feel like I've got an edge on a couple already today. We'll see, fingers crossed. But all in all, I do like the number of prop bets that we are getting available at the moment right now. That's kind of been the biggest issue lately, is literally just not having a fully populated board. So I'm excited for that. So let's go ahead and touch on it. I'm going to go kind of game by game, giving you guys that breakdown, just because we don't know which players are going to be active or inactive. And I want you guys to be able to respond correctly if said news comes out. So I want to start off with calling out teams that are playing for something and teams that aren't playing for something, because the teams that are not in the semifinal are most likely going to be teams that are not going to be playing a lot of their kind of older guys minutes and whatnot. A lot of the guys that we've been on a decent amount, they're not going to be giving those players a lot of minutes. And then other teams, like, we probably want to be targeting this game because there should be more predictability for the Nets and the Cavs, just because they are probably going to be trying to win, right? And then looking at the Jazz and Rockets, that's also going to be a situation in which they are probably trying to win. So we probably want to be sticking to those two. Whereas some of these other teams, they might be randomly sending out some players, like we have seen happen a decent amount thus far this NBA Summer League. All right, so if we look at the first game, we can see that we have Philly versus the Pelicans. And this is actually going to be a game that does look like it's going to be kind of higher scoring. 187.5 is pretty high. I mean, the only other game that's going to be that high is going to be the Rockets versus the Jazz game. So probably two games that we want to be using with our bet slips. And if we look at it, we're getting some decent lines there. We're not getting that many prop line differences as a whole today, but we are getting Imoni Bates for a full point difference for Cleveland. I'll call that out. And then for the Pelicans as well, we are getting Jordan Hawkins for a full point difference as well. So this could be a situation in which we bet the over on PrizePicks and the under on Underdog, but I think there's a better way to go about applying that. Let's just talk about these plays specifically. So in terms of Philly, I want to call this out like Jared Springer. He's been someone that, hasn't really exactly been shooting the basketball a lot, but he has been someone that has been getting a ton of free throws to be able to get his point total. If you guys want to roll with him, you certainly could. I feel like that's a little bit too tight. The one player that I'm really kind of interested about is going to be Ricky Council. Just looking at it, the minutes were not there in the last game, but 2 for 9, 1 for 4. He has a very low point total today at 11.5. If he is someone that could potentially get more minutes, I think he is someone that we could be looking at. And as you guys can see, we aren't getting a prop for him on PrizePicks just yet. They might be waiting on some news in terms of inactive or not. And so if he's someone that could benefit from getting more minutes, I think that's something we might want to be looking at. And then Javonte Smart, I'm actually very curious to see if he's going to get any minutes, because he has been someone that has been getting a decent amount of shot attempts and shooting the three ball a decent amount. Maybe someone we could look at for points, rebounds, and assists. I would say if it's at, 21.5, I'd be fine betting the over there. But now let's go ahead and switch up and get into the Pelicans here, because the Pelicans do present a decent opportunity, I think. So looking at Jordan Hawkins, we are seeing a full point difference here, and that's because he hasn't really exactly shot the basketball well, especially the last two games, 1 for 12, 2 for 13. And I love the fact that he shot that many times while shooting the ball terribly, because if he does shoot the ball better, I do think we can expect him to get 15 or so shot attempts like he did have in the first two games. And so to me, I do like the idea of betting the over on PrizePicks for him. Now we are getting an okay line here for points, rebounds, and assists as well. If he gets to 15.5 points like Underdog has the line set at, it's going to be tough for me to imagine him not being able to get over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists as well, simply given the fact that while shooting the basketball pretty terribly, he's been very close to being able to get that over at a consistent margin. Given the fact that they think this game's going to be higher scoring, that is a prop bet that I do not mind today. And now looking at this Cleveland versus Brooklyn game, this is probably going to be one that we do want to go out and attack. I want to call out that Sharif Cooper here. He might be someone that sit, because he sat in the last game only at 14 minutes because he got injured. So if he sits again, then I think we could be looking at Bates being kind of a reliable option. I'm very curious to see what the minutes are going to look like for Cleveland as a whole, because there could be an edge there just based off the minutes. So if Sharif does sit, or even if he plays but doesn't play a full allotment of minutes, one, we could bet the less points for him. But looking at Bates, I like the edge that we are getting there on him between the two sites. So once again, looking at it, PrizePicks has a line set at 16.5. Underdog. All right, Underdog took away the line. Interesting. All right, so 17.5. Okay, got it. Just had a refresh. So there could be a potential edge there as well. but we look at the game log, not shooting the basketball terribly, shooting a decent amount of 3-ball attempts. I would say that the line is probably right, but I don't mind the idea of maybe points, rebounds, and assists for him. To me, probably betting the under on underdog there, but to me, the favorite prop bet is going to be Isaiah Mobley once again. I mean, he has been someone that literally has hit for us 4 straight slates, or 3 straight slates. I don't think I was on this slate at all that he played, but he's been productive. Okay, I do expect him to get minutes. This is a game in which they probably are trying to win. I mean, if you're in the semifinals for the NBA Summer League, might as well try to win, right? So I do expect him to get minutes. He doesn't really have anything to prove, though. That's the worry. If he gets the minutes, he should be able to crush the over. I think he is, maybe besides Kenneth Lofton, but Memphis did not make the semifinals, so probably not him. I would say Isaiah Mobley is in line to be the NBA Summer League, especially if he does play the last few games here. So I do like him as a prop bet. Probably looking at points, rebounds, and assists here, this number seems too low. Like, even here, with a lower minute total that he's been averaging, once again, we're betting on the minutes. He's averaged 27 points, rebounds, and assists. And that's while only having one game over 30 minutes. Once again, I think, given the fact that they're probably going to try to win, I think there's a good chance he gets 30 minutes. And then looking at Brooklyn, I feel like I can't really be in on any of them because they've all been very solid. That's my worry. And we're not getting a big prop line difference with any of them. So probably a stay away there. So we move on into that next game, Detroit versus Indy. Now, this is definitely a very interesting game. We got Thompson, who has looked pretty darn good thus far. I do expect him to continue to get around 30 minutes. The question is, will he be as efficient as he has been? 6 for 12, 7 for 14, 6 for 13. That is pretty good. If he does have a cold night shooting, then it's tough to imagine him being able to get his over at the current line that they have it set at. I mean, 17.5 on PrizePicks, 18.5 on Underdog. So if he does struggle a little bit and maybe doesn't get a few free throws, it is a little bit more difficult to see him getting that over, especially at 18.5. It's a very interesting line that we're getting for him at 18.5. But why are we getting that line? Well, because Jaden Ivey's most likely sitting, Duran's most likely sitting, Wiseman's most likely sitting, Isaiah Stewart's most likely sitting. So he is kind of the next option, the next choice to get that increase in usage and get that increase in minutes. I think that's why we have seen that. So the line does make sense. I would say if you want to bet him, just do it, please, on the points, rebounds, and assists. Now, obviously, we're not getting that for Underdog, but it does seem like we are getting a pretty decent line for PrizePicks for the over for him there. If you guys want to roll with that, you can. If not, bet the under on Underdog. And then looking at the Pacers, it's kind of more of the same because, well, we know that Mathurin, Nembhard are going to sit. We know that Isaiah Jackson's going to sit. Then we have to look at Jarace Walker. I want to call out his shot attempts. 6 for 21, 8 for 19, 7 for 17, 3 for 13, but the last 2 games with those players out, he has been someone that has seen an increase in usage, maybe not exactly in points, but this 16.5 points seems to be a little bit too low given the fact that he has been getting those many shot attempts. Like, it'd be tough to imagine him not being able to get over 16.5 points again if he's getting 20 shot attempts, right? And especially just given the increase in usage there. And then that being said, maybe you could do rebounds and assists, points, rebounds, and assists as well. That line does feel a little bit more tight at its current nature of 26.5. I think the better bet would be the points there. So continuing on into the last 2 games of the early slate. Once again, I want to call it that these 2 teams are going to be teams that are going to be trying to win. And looking at it, guys, the line is going to be the best line that we have at 189 for an over and under. So we probably do want to be targeting this one. Now, we do know that looking at the Houston Rockets, they're probably not going to play Jabari Smith, Eason as well. Those players are most likely going to be out. So Cam Whitmore has been someone that has been stepping up. He has played on average over 30 minutes per game. The shot attempts and the usage did go up last game as well. So he is someone that people are probably going to be excited to play, and I completely get it. The issue is that the props that we were getting on him are all pretty high because of that. We are getting a small prop line difference here of 1 point. So another situation in which, those shot attempts probably will be there. You could bet the over on PrizePicks. You could bet the under on Underdog. It's really up to you guys. I do expect him to get those 30 minutes, and I do expect him to get those 20 or so shot attempts like he had in the previous game. Then I also want to call out Trevor Hudgins here because I kind of like the line here as well. He is someone that has vastly benefited with those players sent out for Houston. 20 shot attempts in the last 2 games, a bunch of 3-ball attempts as well. If he gets hot, the sky's the limit there. So I think Hudgins is going to be someone that we are definitely looking at. It's just where do we want to go? 18.5 points does seem to be a little bit too low for me. And then looking at the points, rebounds, and assists, that also seems to be a little bit too low to me, just given the fact that he has been producing assist-wise. And, if we can get, let's just say, 10 rebounds and assists to go with 18.5 points, we're right there, right? So very solid line there. I think he has a good chance to get the over points, but I also think that the points, rebounds, and assists prop is going to be the safer of the 2 to go with. And just for what it's worth, PrizePicks and Underdog do have the same line there. And then looking at Utah, because Utah is definitely interesting. I kind of want to call it Micah Potter because he has been someone that the last 2 games has not gone the minutes. And I think he's going to this game. Like, once again, I feel like these teams are going to try to win the NBA Summer League, so why not play your better players? If Micah Potter gets more minutes, he should have no problem getting there. He was, I think, at like 8 points in the first half and then just didn't play a lot of minutes in the second half of that game against Phoenix. Not exactly sure why, but if he does get around, let's just say 29 minutes, then he should be able to get the over points here. Points, rebounds, and assists, I don't mind as well. If we get a decent line for him, if it's like 20.5, that should be a solid line for him. The minutes are what we're looking for. But why would he get minutes? Well, we know that Keontae George going to be out. Okachai here, he's someone that we could look at, but he is probably going to sit as well. So with that, who are they going to look at? Probably Micah Potter, maybe Luka here. Luka has been someone that has been playing extremely well. He's another one of those players that maybe we could potentially look at for points, rebounds, and assists. I'm not sure we're getting a line for him just yet. 24.5. All right, we are. That's probably a good line right there. If those 2 players sit, that's a pretty good line for him. You know, if he gets 27 minutes or so, that's another one of those decent lines there on PrizePicks. Now, the question is, with a line like this, do we want to wait until Underdog comes out with their line to see if it's different? Because we have noticed a difference there, and that could be the difference between it cashing or not cashing. We, potentially. But yeah, I think we're probably betting the over there. And honestly, not a bad idea to like game stack that game. So that kind of ends the early games. Let's going into the afternoon games. So looking at the afternoon games, we're going to start with San Antonio versus OKC, and really like Barlow was a free square in the last slate. We knew that some of the Spurs players were going to sit, and I think the point total was like 11.5. He had it at half. It was just a free square. That was nice to be on for that. We're not exactly going to get that today, and actually his lines are pretty darn high. 17.5 on Underdog currently, and okay, look at that 15 on PrizePicks. Wow, that is a big difference. So this is a situation in which I very much wouldn't mind betting the over on PrizePicks and the under on Underdog. That is a very good call out there. Okay, please. Wow, very nice. That's a big prop line difference. I mean, this is just a crazy prop line difference. I'm actually curious, are we getting any lines here for NBA Summer League for the players? We are not just yet. I wanted to see what his might be. But yeah, that's a big prop line difference. And a lot of his shots, if you're wondering why he has a good field goal percentage, a lot of them are kind of like driving layups, if you will, or driving shot attempts. So a little bit closer to the rim, and that's kind of why. Blake Wesley, though, he is someone that has been shooting the ball poorly the last few games. 5 for 16, 3 for 17. But I do love the shot attempts. And with Branham most likely sitting tonight, I think we have a good chance that he does have another good shot attempt night. The question is, will he be making those shots? And so the line on Underdog at 15.5, that seems to be a little bit too low to me. So heck, you could maybe potentially run out a correlation stack here where you're betting the over for Wesley on Underdog and then betting the under for Barlow there as well. So a decent prop line difference there. And for what it's worth, the line that we're getting for Barlow on PrizePicks for his points, rebounds, and assists, now it's popped in there, that seems to be a little bit too low to me. That's if Underdog has just had 17.5 for the points, like this line is certainly too low. It'd be, let's just put in the middle 16.5, then it still seems to be a little bit too low. OKC wise, I don't really have a good feel for it. Honestly, they've been spreading out their minutes, and then kind of the same thing for Miami as well. I don't feel comfortable with Miami at all. For Portland, I don't see Sharp playing tonight. He only played 13 minutes in the last game, and that's a situation where maybe you just bet the under on Underdog, 4 points for him, just kind of betting on him not getting minutes, because he is someone, I wanted to see the line, more likely than not, like they have nothing to play for here. They're in the consolation bracket, whatever. He's someone that's going to be getting a lot of minutes for them this season, so it doesn't really make sense for him to get minutes. So someone like Walker could be in for an increase of a role, and that's just kind of a guessing game for who's going to be the player that gets minutes and run. I just feel like we're forcing it there. And then I do just want to call out this line for the Hawks, because we know the Hawks are going to be without Griffin, and he's someone that got some minutes in the last game, 24 minutes, 29 minutes. He's been getting a little bit more minutes. His line is set at 5.5 points on Underdog. That just seems to be strange. That doesn't really take much. Now, he isn't someone that's going to shoot the basketball a lot, but maybe in the last game, he tries to increase his role a little bit. Maybe he gets a little bit more minutes as well, if that occurs. And once again, I kind of feel like the players that haven't been getting a lot of minutes, we already saw that happen yesterday. I kind of feel like they are in line to get more minutes. So not a bad option there. And now looking at Dallas, I want to call it Prosper here because I feel like he is going to be someone that we can be on today. So the line is only set at 14.5 points on Underdog. Very curious to see where the line comes out on PrizePicks, but looking at it, it seems like to be like it's going to be a great line. We know that Hardy's going to be out. Okay, Hardy had been someone that was soaking up a lot of usage and minutes. We can see Derek Lively only played 25 minutes in the last game. Will he play or not? I don't know. I kind of expect him to sit, just kind of given how the games went yesterday, where a lot of the players that haven't gained a ton of minutes and maybe will have a role for a team are sitting. Then I look at Prosper, who, we have seen the minutes increase basically every game, and 29 minutes in the last game. That game was a little bit of a blowout, so that's probably why. Looking at it, though, 18 points, 7 for 12, obviously a big. If we're getting a big to get 10 shot attempts, that to me is huge. So at 14.5 points, that does seem to be a little bit too low to me. That's kind of one that I really like. And then looking at the Lakers, we did start to get some of those props in here, at least for points, I guess just on underdog. And I don't mind Jalen Hood for over points. He is someone that kind of but missed on the Flash Friday slip. But to me, it was the correct decision. Max Christie, he's questionable, probably not going to play. And because of that, we saw Hood in the last game have a lot of shot attempts, 3 for 17. I mean, right? Like, we were on with that. That one should have hit. That was the correct decision. 7 for 20 in the previous game. It's very, like, you can't predict a player having a poor night shooting, but getting, let's just say, 18 shot attempts, that is huge. And so that is a line that I really like as well. At 15.5 points, that just seems to be a little bit too low. So we have about 5 really solid prop bets on PrizePicks today. So let's go and touch on those. So actually going to start out with a bet for underdog here. Once again, just a lot of shot attempts for Jalen Hood. I feel like he should be able to get that over. We don't have that line available for PrizePicks just yet. That's why I'm making the prop bet on underdog. Same thing for Prosper here. Once we get that line, maybe we adjust. Blake Wesley seems like a great line, but I feel like these two correlate. Like if Barlow does struggle, 17.5 points, that's a lot compared to the 15.5 line on PrizePicks. And then Micah Potter, we don't have a line on him just yet for PrizePicks. So this would kind of be the slip that I'm looking at for underdog. And then looking at the slip for PrizePicks, Barlow, once again, you could do points. I mean, 2 points is a big difference. I want to make that clear. And then Trevor Hudgins, I just like the line. You could go with the points. The production should be there regardless. Fingers crossed that randomly that Easton or Jabari Parker don't play. Jabari Smith, sorry. Jarice Walker, once again, he should be in for an increase in usage and minutes just in general with Jackson, Mathurin, and Nembhard out. Kind of expect that to continue. And then Luka as well. I like the points, rebounds, and assists. I want to call it these two teams right here are actually playing for something, okay? And to me, that's going to be key. You want to be targeting these teams that are actually playing for something. Then I realized I didn't even include my boy Isaiah Mobley. Yes, Isaiah Mobley, 27.5 points. Include that in there as well. Okay, that bet of the day. And then just one last refresh here. Okay, yeah, Barlow is still the biggest difference. And then Isaiah Mobley still a small difference there as well. So this will probably be updating throughout the day, obviously. So if you guys want access to this, it is available for $10 a month. Link to that in the description below. That's included with everything included in the 9-to-5 membership is all in one package for just $10 a month. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. But that is it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the coverage. If you did, make sure to give a like and subscribe. Let's have a good slate today. Fun.